Good morning and good day. Good morning and good day. Welcome to Kingdom Things. My name is Ashley Phillips. I am a spiritual practitioner, spiritual healer, by the way of Source, by the way of God, Goddess, by the way of the Most High Creator, by the way of the Central Sun, whatever you like to call the creator energy behind what is. That is who ushered me into my role of being a spiritual practitioner, a spiritual healer. Now, y'all, today, what is today? Today is May 18th, 2022. We are still in the lunar energies from the lunar eclipse. Now, as a collective humanity, we're going through Ascension. What is Ascension? Ascension, humanity, we are being awoken to our true essence, our spiritual essence. We are not just the bodies that we see in the mirrors. We are spiritual beings. We are spirits, souls having a human experience. We are so much more than what we were programmed to believe we were over the thousands of years through social programming, religious programming, familial programming. We're so much more than what we've been programmed to believe we are. We are so much more powerful as individuals and as a collective than we have been led to believe we are. So with going through Ascension, we are waking up to this realization, whether you're conscious of this or not, the vibration, everything's vibration, right? Everything's vibration. The density of the vibration, the density of an object or a thing is determined by the rate of which the particles or molecules of that thing or object, the rate in which the particles are vibrating. So we are beginning to vibrate at a much faster velocity, a much faster pace. Our beings are vibrating quicker. Therefore, we're becoming more light. We're becoming more of our spiritual essence. And physics, spirituality, they're one and the same. So as our beingness, our physicality begins to vibrate at a higher velocity, our beingness, our light, is becoming more prevalent. It's becoming more prevalent. And with our light becoming more prevalent, we are being awoken to the denser energies within us. The denser energies within us. So the pains, the traumas, the programmings that no longer fit who we are coming into, all of these pains, traumas, and programmings are being brought to the surface in order for us to acknowledge them, to look at them, and to release these energies, these denser energies, as our bodies begin to vibrate quicker, as our bodies become more light. So that is Ascension, and we're being awoken to our truth. What is our truth? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And not only are we spiritual beings having a human experience, but we are spirits planted, seated by the energy of the Most High Creator, God, Goddess, Source, Father, Mother, God, the Central Sun. We are energies, spirits, seated by the Creator of all that is. So in and of our own rights, we are gods and goddesses walking the planet Earth. We are gods and goddesses walking the planet Earth. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm going to get a bit personal today. I'm hoping with sharing my experience, not only is it going to be therapeutic for myself, but I'm hoping that it'll help other people in their journey of healing themselves as well, in their healing journeys as well, in their self-realization journeys as well. So the lunar energies that we're still in. We're still feeling these energies of the lunar eclipse, blood moon. We're still feeling these energies. Now, I've been guided, the last couple episodes I've been talking about familiar programming. I've been talking about reparenting the inner child. I've been talking about the effects of childhood on our emotional bodies, and the effects of our childhood and the shaping of our emotional bodies in our childhood, how that affects our lives as adults. That's what Spirit's been guiding me through. And it's come to, we're at this point where yesterday I was guided to, just chill out, calm. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to do any self-healing. Don't try to do any self-work. Just chill out. Now, what I've been awoken to is one of my coping mechanisms, maladaptive coping mechanisms. So it's not the best for me. It's not the best practice for me to have for myself, personally speaking. One of my maladaptive coping mechanisms is whenever I begin to feel emotions that are perceivably unpleasant, that are triggering of memories of my childhood, and this used to be an unconscious thing. It used to be an unconscious thing. I jump into work. I jump into my physicality. I become a workhorse. Like I've been saying, that's how we've been programmed to kind of avoid what's going on inside and push all of our energy to our external experience. So that has been a maladaptive coping mechanism that was subconscious. Now it is conscious. Now I am aware. I jump into working and trying to achieve things through my external actions. This is what I used to do, instead of feeling the energies that would come up to be acknowledged, come up to be acknowledged in order to be released. Why? Because these energies are uncomfortable. These energies are uncomfortable, and just like I spoke on the last episode, we're taught and programmed how to deal with our emotions as children. So yesterday I was awoken to the realization, I was guided by Spirit. Everyone has their own way. That's one big thing that Spirit's drilling into my head. Everyone is so unique. Everyone is so unique that everyone is going to have their own journey and their own road to what we call self-realization or self-activation or self-healing. Everyone's journey is going to be so different. There's no one size fits all. So it's really about taking the knowledge and the awareness that you're woken to, taking that information from whatever sources and whatever resonates with you, whatever sings to your insides, whatever speaks to you, that's what you take. That's what you can take and apply to your healing journey, to your self-realization journey. So yesterday I was sitting in my room trying to meditate, but I felt agitated. Whenever Spirit is trying to talk to me, I intuitively know, okay, Spirit's trying to tell me something. And I was like, okay, what is it? And then I reached for my journal to begin to write. Well, I reached for my journal. I thought I was going to write something. I was like, maybe it'll come out. Let me get my journal and just start writing, and maybe whatever Spirit's trying to say will come out. So I reached for my journal. I opened my journal, and the page I opened my journal to is a page in which it is a story that I began to write. I write literary pieces. I write books. I write. So I opened my journal, and the page that it opened to was a story that I began to write. I never finished, but it was the first day, the first page of the story that I began to write, and I never finished. And the story is called A Love Story Too True to Be Real. Actually, I don't think that's what it is. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Yeah. The story that I began to write, but I never finished, it's called A Love Story Too True to Be Told. A love story too true to be told. That's how you know that I just kind of left this and did not come back until yesterday. A love story too true to be told. Now, I am on what expedited my journey down my spiritual path, what kind of, catalyzed me down my journey of my spiritual path was the reconnection to a soul in which I know. Me being catalyzed down my spiritual path really kicked into gear with my reconnection to a soul in which I know. Some people will call this connection, you can call it a soulmate, you can call it a twin flame, whatever you like to call it. Myself, I'm trying to back up off the labels. Because I don't want to put anything in the box. Because again, we're programmed to linearize things and put things in a box, and we're energy, so we're fluid beings. But we try to live under this archetype of linearization and organization that it just really doesn't meld with my soul. It doesn't meld with my spirit. So I'm trying not to put things in a box. But you can call this soul connection a soulmate or a twin flame. So that is what catalyzed me down my path of self-healing. Now I began, so yesterday I was sitting trying to meditate. Spirit needed to say something to me. Spirit was trying to point something out to me. I grabbed my journal thinking that I was going to write, and maybe whatever I wrote would, excuse me. I'm feeling some anxiety, some energies coming up. We're still in this lunar energy, lunar eclipse energy. So excuse me while I honor my emotions. Ashley, I love you. You are safe to be your full self. Ashley, I love you. You are safe to be your full self. Okay, so I opened up my journal thinking that I'm going to write, and Spirit's going to guide me, do some guided automatic writing. They're going to tell me what I need to know, what they're trying to tell me. I opened my journal. A love story too true to be told, March 26th, 2021. March 26th, 2021. And I say the date to say my journey of self-healing and connecting with this soul that I know has expedited my journey of self-healing. Now, I don't know, again, everyone is so unique, so different, but I feel like I have had so many deaths and rebirths, in the past 2 years. Just in the past 2 years, I feel like I've stepped into so many versions of myself. And I'm so glad that these versions of myself are steps up. It's elevation. It's me coming into my truth. So I'm so grateful for that. So open my journal, March 26, 2021. A love story too true to be told, chapter 1. And how I was writing this book is at the beginning of every chapter there's a poem. And then it goes into more of the story. So chapter 1, unknown knowing. I am sure of you, but I don't know when you will show. The design of your spirit is one in which I know. I love you with all that I am and with everything I aspire to be. They call me crazy to think that you could ever love someone like me. They call me crazy to think that you could ever love someone like me. Now, when I first read that, when I first read that, I was like, wow. And again, I'm making an effort to practice being compassionate and loving with every version of myself, whether perceived past or, however I show up in my present moments. I'm making the conscious effort to be compassionate and loving with myself. When I first read that, I was like, wow, Ashley, you really did not know who you were. You really did not know who you were. You really allowed other people's perceptions of who you were to determine how you saw yourself. Ashley, you really allowed other people's perceptions of you to determine how you saw yourself. That's what came up. And I was like, wow, I've grown so much. Thank you. Like gratitude, thank you. Like, give me more of that. Give me more growth. No matter how many times I'm crying on the floor, or no matter how many times, I feel alone. I come to a space where I feel alone. Give me more of this, because it is, again, walking me to myself, walking me to my truth. So, chapter 1, Unknown Knowing. I am sure of you, but I don't know when you will show. The design of your spirit is the one in which I know. I love you with all that I am and with everything I aspire to be. They call me crazy to think that you could ever love someone like me. Ring, ring. Her alarm clock on her phone chimed, but she had been up, looking at her vision board that laid nestled against the wall atop her sizable 6-drawer gray wash oak dresser. Against the wall atop her sizable 6-drawer gray wash oak dresser. I'm so sorry. Like, I took a picture of the journal and it's in my notes, and that's what I'm reading from, and it's really hard to read this. Okay, let me start over. Ring, ring. Her alarm clock on her phone chimed, but she had been up, looking ahead at her vision board that lay nestled against the wall atop her sizable 6-drawer gray wash oak dresser. She laid on her bed as her eyes focused shifted from admiring the rays of the sunlight bleeding into her bedroom to the photos and accents of her future as detailed on her vision board. Allie knew she was a person of many layers, emotions, and thoughts, but she didn't understand as to why she struggled through sorting these layers, emotions, and thoughts. At the same time, Allie was able to piece together Stranger's emotions and issues as if they were a picture puzzle she had composed 1,000,001 times. She felt Stranger's emotions as if they were her own. She felt as if it were her responsibility to quell the emotions of the broken hearts. She felt many things, so many things she deserves to tell her own story, a story of enlightenment and love. Wow! A story of enlightenment and love. And mind you, at this point in time, I had no clue I was on a spiritual journey. When I wrote that, I had no clue. I did not remember that I was on a spiritual journey. I did not remember that I was on this earth to become a better me, a better soul, a more expanded soul. I did not remember that. But I wrote that, a story of enlightenment and love. And in a spiritual sense, enlightenment is the activation of your soul, the realization of the God or goddess within. It's practicing that realization, it's living that realization that you are a God or goddess walking planet Earth with love and compassion and humility. So enlightenment is the self-realization of the God or goddess within, and practicing and living that self-realization with love, compassion, and humility on this physical plane. I had no clue I was on a spiritual journey. I had no clue who I was. And I wrote that. And I read that. I was like, Ashley, you're so amazing. Ashley, you are so amazing. You had no clue. You had no clue how amazing you are, how amazing you were. And that again goes back to me seeing myself, me taking on the perceptions of what other people saw me as. So I always look for other people to define me. What do you like? I will be that. This relationship dynamic I learned from the relationship with my mother. So I always looked for other people to define me. What do you like? I will be that. The relationship dynamic I learned from my relationship with my mother as a child. This is why I forgot who I was. Why I had an identity crisis, if you want to say that. I had issues with my identity. I did not know who I was because I would assume what other people perceived me to be. I would assume what other people seemingly wanted or needed me to be to make them comfortable, to make them happy. That's what I did. I would become that for them, for other people. So I was not living for myself. I was not living my truth. I got used to always acting as if I was pleasant or happy because if I was pleasant, I got used to always acting if I was pleasant or happy because if I was anything other than happy or pleasant, I felt like I was the reason for my mother's outbursts. So as a child, I would always play to be pleasurable, pleasant, or happy because if I was anything else, I felt like I was the reason for my mother's outbursts. I was the reason for my mother's anger and rage. That I felt like it was my fault because I wasn't being happy. I wasn't playing to be happy or pleasant. It was my fault that she was raging. It was my fault that she was angry. It was my fault that she was yelling. I took on that notion as a child. And that's a lot of where like the empath, the quote unquote empath, that's where that empath ability, a lot of times that's where that comes from. As a child, it's a survival mechanism. I used it as a survival mechanism. And I didn't know that was what I was doing, but I would feel I would feel to see how my mother felt. And that would determine if I go share how my day was, if I go ask her questions, that would determine that. And a lot of times I could feel when I asked her questions or shared with her, she wasn't present. She didn't engage in the conversations that like I had with her. She didn't seem to be interested in what I had to say. It was just like, that's nice, okay, that's good. But she was always focused on something else and not really engaging with me. And I'm trying not to cry. I'm about to cry. I feel like I'm about to cry, but that's okay. If I cry, that's okay. I'm gonna honor my emotions. This is how I thought relationships were supposed to work. This is how I was programmed to believe relationships were supposed to work, that it was normal for an imbalance in energy exchange in relationships. I thought that was normal. I thought it was I didn't know anything else. I did not know anything else. I didn't know anything else. And this is what Spirit pointed out to me and has awoken me to. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know I was doing this. I did not know I was doing this. But I was taking on what I felt like other people needed from me. I was being that for them and always abandoning myself. I was taking on the energies and becoming the person I felt like other people needed me to be, and I was abandoning myself. And that might not even be what they needed, but that's what I felt. Like that's what I intuitively felt would make them happy. So that's what I took on. And I didn't know I was doing this. And in high school, this one person that I was drawn to their soul. So I knew their soul. I knew their soul. Like I knew their soul. Like I know you. And you can't tell people these things because they don't I didn't know this is what I was doing, but now I know this is what I was doing. And this person I had seen for the first time in middle school, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, like something in me, I was like, oh, I know them. Like I was drawn, I was like, I know them. So I never talked to them in middle school, come to high school, and we have a class together, so we become more connected. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this person. And I know that soul. I now know that soul is a part of my soul group, and that we're here on earth to help each other learn and grow. And that's why we have these interactions in this world, to help each other learn and grow. Before we come into this earth, we already know which roles we're going to play for each other. So I was like, I know this soul. And that turned in, and meet that knowing, that turned into a quote unquote, it turned into an emotional infatuation, really is what it was. If I'm being honest with myself, I was emotionally infatuated because I know the spirit. I know the spirit. And the thing about it is, I was attuned to my spiritual essence. I was that's what I like to say. I was unconsciously conscious to my spiritual essence. I was unconsciously conscious to my spiritual essence. So like I didn't know that this is what I was doing, but this is what I was doing. I was awoken to my spiritual essence, and that's what I saw. I saw your spirit. I didn't see your clothes. I didn't see your face. I didn't see, like your fucked up personality. I didn't see any of that. I just saw your spirit, your quote unquote. Let me not be mean. That was a joke. That was a joke. But I didn't see like your quirks. Let me say quirks. I didn't see your quirks and personality. I saw your spirit. I saw your spirit. So that's what I was doing, and I did not realize this. So I became emotionally infatuated with this person, with this boy in middle school, in high school, right? And I was walking with him, and he was like, Ashley, you're so fake. Ashley, you're so fake. And that crushed my heart. At the moment, I was like, what? No, I'm just creative. I'm just different. Like, I'm just creative. And that's why, like, I fell into like, oh shit, people don't understand me. People don't get me. And I felt lonely. I fell into that. Now, I will say with going through Ascension, with all of these emotions all of these emotions coming up to be realized in order to be released, you have options. Like, do you want to choose to continue to be a quote unquote victim to these older emotions? Do you want to continue to perceive these emotions as you did as a child, as you were programmed to perceive in your youth? Or do you want to take this knowledge and these tools that spirit has been awakening within you, because you always had it. You always had these tools, because again, God said, I put into you, I seeded in you everything that you need in this world to be all that you want to be in this world. So do you want to look at the emotions and energies that are coming up? Do you want to look at them and perceive them in the way that you did in your youth as a child before you began to remember who you were? Or do you want to switch and make the conscious effort to perceive these emotions and look at these energies and how they have benefited you, how they have grown you, how they have made you a better person, Because God told me, he said, because yesterday I was struggling through these emotions. I was like, have y'all seen Cadet Kelly on Disney Channel? Cadet Kelly, like, okay, let me just say, military boot camp. When they're crawling in the mud, and they have the wire over them, like you're crawling in the mud. That's what I was yesterday. I was a Hillary Duff in the mud, Cadet Kelly, like struggling to get through that mud yesterday. I was struggling through these energies, and I kept on recycling and replaying my old perceptions of how I saw the energies. I was feeling so sad. I was feeling abandoned. I was like, damn, my mother, this is what my mother did to me, my mother. And I have to remember, first off, I have to honor those emotions. I have to honor that inner child in me. I have to look at those emotions, honor that inner child in me, and let that inner child know, I love you. It's fucked up that you had to go through that. I love you. It's messed up that you had to go through that. I am so sorry. And just hold yourself and apologize to that inner child in you. Now you can stay there in that wallow in the inner child's perception, the inner child's perceptions of the energies that are coming up to be released. Or you can, apologize to the inner child, be compassionate with the inner child, and then introduce the inner child to the new perceptions. So I'm so sorry, Ashley. It's messed up that you had to go through that. I apologize. I love you. I'm so sorry for not being there for you. I'm so sorry for ignoring you all of these years. I'm so sorry. But we now know, and let me show you, that everything that you went through led you to this moment. Everything that you went through has led you to this growth. And God told me, like I was struggling, I was like, okay, I see it, God. I see the new perception. I know that my mother is a part of I know that my mother is a soul that's here to teach me, to grow me, to expand me as a soul. And that's why I went through what I went through. I know that, like, I see it, God, but, I'm still feeling away. I'm still a little upset. What could I do? And then God told me, God said, this is a revelation that came through. It's about strength. It's about strength. So speaking to myself and you, if you have experienced much trauma in your life, God or Goddess has a plan for you to turn that pain into purpose and power. So speaking to us, if you have experienced much trauma in your life, God, Goddess, the Central Sun, Source, the Most High Creator, the Most High, has a plan for you to turn that pain into purpose and power. So everything that you went through, God was forging you like you were a piece of iron. God was forging you into a beautiful masterpiece for the world to admire and for the world to take away from and for the world to grow from, as well as yourself. So everything that you've been through, sweet soul, everything that you've been through, love, everything that you've been through, beautiful heart, it was for your journey to your purpose. Everything that you went through was for your journey to your purpose. And again, Source, God, Goddess, the Most High, the Most High Creator has awoken me to my purpose of being a spiritual healer, of being a spiritual practitioner, understanding who I am and how I can use what God put into me to make this world a better place. How I can use what God put into me and what I've gone through in my life to take away from that, to draw strength from that, to draw power from that, to make this world a better place. Not just my life not just making myself a better self, making my life greater. All of that's included. All that's all encompassing. All of it can exist at once. So you're making yourself a better person, making your soul a more expanded soul, creating the life of your dreams, creating the life that you want from this energy that you went through as a child that strengthened you so that you can realize your power and create the life of your dreams and then create a world, a better world from what you went through, from what you thrived through, from what you grew from what you were activated from, to make the world, the life of your dreams, and make this world a better place. Make this world a better place. So the dynamic that I learned in relationships is that I was to put in all of the effort in order to elicit or try to elicit love and compassion and attention from the other person. So I learned to put in so much effort to be a chaser. That's why God told me, you better stop chasing people in this goddamn world. That's not what I made you for. That's not what I made you for. God said, actually stop chasing things in this world. And God showed me what that came from. That came from the dynamic that I learned from in my childhood with my mother, the trauma bond that I had with my mother, where I would try to elicit love, compassion, affection by doing things, by chasing, by like trying to be who you want me to be so you can love me. I was trying to be who you want me to be so you can love me. And that is a relationship dynamic that I played out a few times, 2 or 3 times, unknowingly, subconsciously. And I could wallow in what I went through as a child and all of that. I could wallow in that. But I am making the conscious choice to be so happy, to welcome this liberation, because now that I see it, that's not me. That's not my identity. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. It is okay for me to be angry. It is okay for me to be sad. It is okay for me to get disappointed. I can be dissatisfied. I can be belligerent. I can be stubborn. I can be loud. I can be naughty. I can be mischievous. That is okay. That is okay. Like I said a few episodes back, we are human beings with varied emotions, and it is okay for us to be through all of those emotions. But it's our choice whether we want to be through those emotions or do we want to become those emotions. Do we want to be through those emotions and allow those emotions to flow through us, or do we want to become those emotions? Do we want to make those emotions our identities? That is our choice. That is our choice. Me, I am making a choice to be through the energies, allowing these energies to flow through me, acknowledge them, not ignore them. Don't jump into working. Don't go get you a plate, whatever. Don't go jumping into working. Don't go make you a good old plate whenever you're feeling these emotions come up. Sit down and acknowledge them and comfort yourself and be with yourself and allow those emotions to flow through. And know that you are not those emotions, but those emotions are flowing through you because you are a spirit having a human experience. Having this human experience, we are introduced to so many emotions, so many varying differences because we live in a plane of duality. So there's going to be variations in everything that we come across. But it's your choice on what you want to allow to become your identity. It's your choice on what you want to allow to fester in your body. It's your choice on what you want to continue to feed energy to, the thoughts you want to feed energy to. So if you come across a thought or a perception that doesn't sit with you, just let it flow through you. Let it go. Oh, that's not me. That's cool. I respect how they feel. You know, everyone has the right to feel how they feel, but that's not me. You know, there's no sense of arguing with people over their perceptions. And that's another thing. I'm laughing because it's so beautiful and it's just beautiful. But I'm laughing because God, Source, Spirit pointed out to me, like when you argue with somebody over their perceptions, you're only arguing with yourself. You're only being triggered by emotions that you haven't dealt with within yourself. So everything that you have to say to them, say it to yourself. Say it to yourself and ask yourself why you're so triggered about how someone else feels. Ask yourself why you're so triggered about how someone else perceives this world. Ask yourself why you're so triggered about how someone perceives what you perceive to be different. Because you're not arguing with that person. You're truly only arguing with, you're not arguing with the other person. You are truly only arguing with emotions that you have not dealt with within yourself. You're unsettled with something within yourself is why you feel the need to argue with someone else over about how they feel, about how they have, about their perception. You're truly unsettled within yourself. So instead of going to argue or feeling compelled to argue with someone about how they feel, how they perceive the world, ask yourself why it triggers you to the point where you want to argue with someone. Like, what is going on with me that I feel triggered by how someone else feels? What's going on inside me that I can be moved by how someone else feels? What's going on inside of me that I can be moved by external circumstances, external to myself? Because again, you are the universe. You are your universe. You are an infinite being. You have infinite powers within you. Why are you triggered by someone else's universe that is their universe, that's their world that they're creating? You're letting emotions that are triggering you create your world. And you know, when we get upset, those energies go into what we create the next moment in our life that we create. We can only perceive as we are. So if you allow yourself to continue to be upset, you allow yourself to continue to be angry, you allow yourself to continue to be dissatisfied, disappointed, belligerent, stubborn, loud, naughty, mischievous. If you allow yourself to continue to be these things, if you take on these things as your identity, you're going to perceive the world as those lower vibrational energies. If you allow yourself to continue to be, or if you allow yourself to take on the identities of these lower vibrational emotions, because these energies that don't feel good in our bodies, they don't feel good because they are contrary to our soul. They are contrary to what our soul knows. Our souls are high vibrational. They're light. Like they're light as in like sight, like the sunlight, and they're light as in mass density, like they're light. Our souls are light. So when you take on these lower vibrational emotions, the reason why it doesn't feel good is because it's contrary to our soul. Our souls are high vibrational energies. anger, disappointment, sadness, dissatisfaction, belligerentness, being belligerent, stubbornness, loud, naughty, mischievous, those are denser. So they vibrate slower. Those energies move slower, and they're contrary to what your truth is. And what is your truth? You're a high vibrational soul-seated energy. So when you feel those energies, the reason why you feel bad and down about it is because they're contrary to your truth. They're resistant to your truth. And oftentimes resistance to what we want in this life. Because no one wants to feel these things. No one wants to be sad, disappointed and angry all their life. And that's not the life we want to create. Whenever you're triggered by someone else and you allow yourself whenever you're triggered by someone else and you take on these emotions of anger, sadness, disappointment, dissatisfaction, instead of arguing with that person about their perception, ask yourself why you feel this way, work through those emotions in order to release them so that you're not creating your life based off of reactions to the outside world. Instead of arguing with people about their perceptions and how they feel, ask yourself why you're so moved and why you react to other people's perceptions and emotions in order to become a conscious creator of your life, in order to get to the root of why you feel that way. Because you're not arguing with them. You're acting out of unresolved emotions, unreleased emotions within yourself. So it's about us realizing why we do the things we do. It's about us realizing how we interact with people and why we interact with people the way we do. And that's a big thing that the lunar eclipse swayed my way, brought my way. A huge thing that the lunar eclipse brought my way. And I'm glad that I was able to share that with you. I'm still working through these emotions. Again, we're all human. We're all having this experience of expansion and growth. And it's really about, it really is about the growth. It really is about the expansion. It becomes more satisfying when you realize that this growth and expansion, you're supposed to share it with the world. What you learn through your trials and how you get through those trials, you're supposed to share it with the world to help other people get through their things and to make the world a better place and to illuminate the light that you found within yourself, illuminate that light into the world and make it, a better place. So the light that you have realized, rediscovered within yourself, the light that you begin to emanate from within yourself, from healing yourself from your past, we're supposed to share that with the world. We're supposed to share that with the world. So I'm super glad that I was able to share, what I have grown through, not gone through, but grown through this lunar eclipse, May 2022, but I have grown through, again, still working on that, working through all of the energies. But the biggest takeaways that I've grown through so far is, understanding who I am. And not only understanding who I am, but understanding that I get to create who I am. I get to determine who I am, not anyone else. And not only is it that I get to determine who I am, but God, Goddess, the Creator, the Most High, that's who gets to say who I am. Because again, we're so programmed, and in these programs, it's hard for us to see through them. Again, like this relationship dynamic, I did not see it. I did not realize this. Spirit, God, the Most High had to show me it. The universe had to show me it. You don't realize that you're so programmed out of your truth. So God has to show me who I am. God determines who I am, not anyone out there, not anyone else. Not anyone else's perception determines who I am. We have the ultimate power to create ourselves. We have the ultimate power to create ourselves. And that is one of the biggest takeaways that I am growing through this lunar eclipse. I have the power to create who I am. I say who I am. I say who I am, not anyone else. And if you can't see me, I'm not going to force myself on you. And that's the part of the humility with realizing your truth and your power, because not everybody's going to like it. Not everyone's going to appreciate it. Not everyone's going to see you and know, oh, that's me too. Because the light that you see in yourself, that's the same light that is in others as well. But if they don't realize their power, they can only see you from the level in which they see themselves. So if the other person does not know their power, they cannot see you for who you are. They cannot see you for your truth. They cannot see you for your power. So don't let anyone else's perception of themselves, don't let them copy and paste that perception onto you. Don't accept that as your truth if they can't see your power. It's not your job to force your power onto them. It's not your job to make them see you. That's the humility and the quiet power of the quietness and the humility of just knowing that I am. Just know that I am greatness. Just know that I am a God or goddess walking the planet Earth. Just know that I am the ultimate creator of myself and my life. And if you don't see it, I send you love, so hopefully one day you can see yourself. I send you love, so hopefully one day you can see yourself. Because again, we only perceive the world as we are. We don't perceive the world as it is. We perceive the world and others. We perceive the world and others as we are, not as they are, not as it is. So that's my the biggest takeaway that I hope, you're able to take away, and, something resonates with you to assist you in your journey of self-realization, to assist you in your journey of self-growth, to assist you and let you know that you're not alone. We oftentimes feel like we're alone going through these journeys. And yes, it is a path that you walk by yourself, but you're not walking alone. This journey of self-realization, self-activation, realizing the God or goddess within you, yes, you're walking by yourself, but at the same time, you are not alone. And I love you. I love you. God, goddess, Most High, Creator Source, Central Sun loves you. The universe loves you. You're so purposeful. And know that everything that you've been through was purposeful, because God has a beautiful plan beyond what you can imagine. God has a beautiful plan for you to turn that pain into purpose. God has a beautiful plan. God has a beautiful plan for you to turn your pain into purpose, into abundance, into love, into creation, into you becoming more than what you have ever been led to believe about yourself. You becoming more than you have ever been led to believe about yourself. So it's about realizing that we are more than what we were told that we were, which is it's going to be on repeat. You're going to hear me say this all the time. You're going to hear me say this all the time. We are more than what we have been programmed and led to believe that we are. And that's what this journey of self-realization is. You are a God or goddess walking planet Earth. You are a God or goddess walking planet Earth with love, humility, and compassion for others and yourself. For others and yourself. So we're surrendering to the process. We're surrendering to the fact that we don't know. We do not know. I do not know who I am. God, please show me. I do not know who I am. God, please show me. I do not know who I am. God, Goddess, Source, the Central Sun, the Most High Creator, the Most High, please show me who I am. And allow yourself to be guided through the process of self-realization and transmuting the energies and programs that you were led to believe are you. Dispelling the energies, the programs that you were led to believe are you. Surrendering, because we don't know. We don't know. We can't see. We're blinded by what we were programmed to believe. So that's another big takeaway that I've gotten this lunar eclipse. And you know what? It's a takeaway that I'm learning every day. Like letting go. letting go of how you believe you should work through it, letting go of how you believe things should be, letting go of how you believe you should act and be in this world. I don't know. God show me. God show me, because God has the path of least resistance. God has the path to like revelations and abundance and happiness and joy that we can't even imagine, because we don't know. So you are the ultimate creator of your life. You determine who you are. God, I surrender to you. Show me who I am. Show me my purpose. Show me who I can be. And just allowing yourself to be guided by your intuitive nudges, allowing yourself to be guided by the synchronicities in your life, being present in the moment, in your every moment, so that you notice the intuitive guidance, so that you notice the synchronicities, and know that you're not alone. Yes, you're walking this path on your own. Yes, it's unique to you. Yes, this is tailor-made for you, because you have a tailor-made purpose in this world. You might see someone else doing what you want to do, but understand that your plight, your experiences are unique to you. So how they do it is beautiful, that's great, but know the way that you do it is needed and necessary in this world. So don't ever think, oh, they're doing it. I probably shouldn't do it. Don't doubt yourself, because the way you do it is needed. It's purposeful. That's why you're here. That's why God put that purpose in you. So I'm really hoping that this was as healing to you as it was for me, because I'm telling you, this is super therapeutic for myself. Yes, so closing out, I love y'all so much. I love everyone so much. Thank you so much for listening. If you're needing help, if you're wanting help with working through, these energies and emotions that we're, realizing as human beings, as spirits having a human experience, if you're needing assistance with working through these emotions and energies, I am offering my services to assist in helping people, helping my fellow brothers and sisters work through their emotions, because I know that it's a task. It's tough doing it on your own. I'm not on my own. I'm doing it with spirit. I know that me doing it with the spirit, it's all, divinely constructed for me to step into my healer purpose. So if you're needing assistance with working through these emotions and energies of your life, of your journey, on Instagram, you can find me at Ashley, ASHLEY.44.LALUNA. So on Instagram at ashley.44.laluna. DM me, direct message me. Please let me know that you're coming from Kingdom Things Podcast and you have questions or suggestions or need help. Please let me know you're coming from this referral, Kingdom Things Podcast. Otherwise, I probably won't respond, to be honest. So let me know that you're coming from Kingdom Things Podcast. You have questions. You're inquiring about my services for assisting you with working through your emotions, or you just have topic suggestions for the podcast. Let me know that you're coming from Kingdom Things Podcast with me, your host, Ashley Nicole Phillips. And after you are done listening to Kingdom Things, head on over to Wattpad. Whether you're on the app or you are on online web service, wattpad.com. In the search bar, type in the Story of Asiyah. The Story of Asiyah. Just like us, going through our journey of self-realization, I wrote a story about a teenage girl named Asiyah living in New York City, and she's doing the same. She comes from circumstances that she comes from tough circumstances herself, and she begins herself to realize she begins her journey to realize herself, self-realization, just like a lot of us. So go on Wattpad, type in the Story of Asiyah. The first installment is Coming Home, the Story of Asiyah, with a pink cover. The second installment is the Story of Asiyah, I'm Home, with the green cover. Read it if you like short stories. If you like reading stories, it is a short read, quick read, but I want to know how it activates the energies within you. Are there any comparisons that you see between yourself and Asiyah and her story? Just let me know. I'd be super interested. Leave comments. I also have the links for the story of Asiyah, and then the story of Asiyah, I'm home. In the description of the Spotify posting of the podcast. And then also, I rarely talk about this, but my book, My Other Half. And this is like a soft spot for me. My Other Half is another piece that I've written. And this piece is influenced by, it was channeled through the energies of my twin flame or my soulmate that catalyzed my journey of self-healing and self-realization. So this book, My Other Half, comes from the energies of my twin flame or my soulmate that I reconnected with in this lifetime. So My Other Half, the link will be in the description of the Spotify posting of this podcast as well. Again, let me know what you think. This one is a longer read, but it's still a quick read. It's not going to take you. It's a quick read. And the reason why I keep on saying, because I don't like reading long books, and I think it's like I don't know what it is. I do know what it is. I like to create myself, and I like to. I always have like thoughts and things going on in my mind and moving around in my mind. So I like to create. I like to create and keep it pushing. So I tend to write shorter pieces because that's just the way that I like to read. I like to read shorter pieces, like to create and keep it pushing, you know, flow through life. So thank you guys again for joining me today. Your host, Ashley Nicole Phillips, on this episode of Kingdom Things Podcast. I love you, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.